Jack here from Peach Guitars. Welcome to a new demo of a Strymon pedal. I want to do this a little bit differently to how we tend to do our other pedal reviews, in keeping with how we previously did our review on the Kingtone Soloist, which is, I'm just going to give you my very first impressions of this pedal, rather than walk you through every feature that it has to offer. There's a bunch of other videos on YouTube, including from Strymon themselves. They make fantastic video content that's very comprehensive, so that you can get to grips with all the features that this pedal will have to offer. I just want to give you my first impressions and hopefully kind of give more of a typical player's perspective on how you would go about using this pedal. So I am, of course, as the name of this video will imply, talking about the brand new Compadre, which is a compressor and boost in one pedal. It kind of replaces the outgoing OB1, which for the longest time, I think that was one of the very oldest Strymon pedals, in fact, their original compressor and boost. And they basically just updated it with a few more player-friendly features. They've added in a couple of circuit tweaks, made this kind of pedal design even more versatile now. And to show just how effective it actually is at crafting your tone, I wanted to use it in conjunction with Strymon's second to latest pedal offering, which is the Iridium, which is their amp and IR simulation pedal. So we've just received another shipment of the Iridiums, and we've just received our first shipment of the Compadre, so now seems like a good time to combine the two. I wanted to use the Iridium because it provides quite a nice flat tonal bass. It is capable of a lot more than what I'm using it for today, but I just want to use it basically just to showcase this pedal. So it's set pretty flat. Let me show you what the Iridium by itself sounds like, and then I'm going to get into how I'm going to use the Compadre to tweak the tone from there. So here's the bass tone. Okay, so you'll hear there's a tiny little bit of hair on it. I've got it kind of just about to breaking point where I really lay into the guitar. It's going to start to break up in a natural kind of a way. And that is where a compressor and a boost kind of sit at their best, I think. You can, of course, use them with a pure clean sound, as a lot of people do. And you can use them with a more distorted sound. But for the purpose of this demonstration, this is the sweet spot that will show off what this new Compadre pedal will do best. So, in short, let me summarise and then I'll start talking through some of the features as I play. As I say, it's a dual-voiced compressor, which means that you've got a studio and, what's the bottom one called? Squeeze mode. So those are kind of emulating not only a studio-grade 1176 style compressor, which is what I was using at the intro there. The squeeze mode is more of a traditional pedal format compressor, so it's got a lot more of a dramatic impact on the compression ratio of the tone. You really hear it when you kick it in. The studio one is a bit more subtle. And I think a lot of players like to live somewhere between those two. For players who use compression anyway, will use somewhere between those two. You either like that real subtle kind of studio grade compression, or you like the real dramatic country, you know, kind of chicken picking style compression, or for funk and stuff like that. So the compression circuit in this is largely lifted, I believe, from the OB1, but with a few tweaks, as I say. So I'm going to talk about that after I tell you about the boost as well, which sits after it in the signal chain. And this boost has three different modes. You can EQ the boost in three different ways. You either got a flat boost, which isn't going to change the frequency response. You also have a mid-range and a treble boost. And that's not treble in the, just as in boosting the high frequencies. I actually think this sounds like some of the best old treble boost germanium style circuits. On the back of the pedal here, there's a little switch which turns the boost from either a clean boost or a dirty type boost. So it will add some gain to the pedal if you use it in the dirtier mode, which I'll show you a little bit later on. Okay, so that's the basics of the pedal. Let me now show you what the compression is actually doing to the tone, the way I had it set up. It's fairly subtle. You can see I've pretty much got all the controls at about halfway. So let me show you what this is doing to that bass clean tone that I showed you before. I'll play it one more time, then I'll turn the compressor on. Right, now let me show you the dramatic difference that you get when you switch down to the squeeze mode. hopefully you'll hear the difference there. It's really a lot to do with the feel of the pedal as well. I really like both of them. As I say, a lot of players like to sort of sit somewhere between the two. I actually think you can legitimately use both for different applications. So a lot of players revere those old squeezer type compressors for the real squashed kind of tone, like I said, and you can either use that for funky kind of snappy bright chords, or you can use it for that real like country style thing as well that I talked about. So let me show you both. I kind of showed you a funky thing there, so let me show you a bit more of the country type squash that you get from this squeeze mode. So great tone. Unlike most original vintage style compressors as well, this is a parallel compressor, so you've got the ability to blend back in your dry signal, which is really important. I think most modern day compressors have this feature now for very good reason. It allows you to still retain kind of as much of your original dynamics as you want to, at the same time as blending it in with the compression tone. So that's a great sound. I'm just going to show you a little bit more on the studio mode, how you can use it just to refine the tone. That's what I really like using a compressor for in most cases, is just to smooth out the edges and make it a little bit easier to play. It makes each individual note stand out a little bit more. Obviously the nature of compression is to bolster up the lower volume notes and to tame the higher volume notes, so it does that very, very nicely. Let me show you first of all with the pedal off, then I'll turn it back on. Not changing the tone a whole lot, but as I say, that's kind of how you want a compressor to be when you're using it in this particular way. So I really like that Strymon have included both options. You can of course tweak to your heart's content. You know, you've got the standard just compression level, the overall volume level, and that dry signal level as well that I talked about. I think it's really nice that they've stripped away all the fat though, and they don't give you too many more options than that to consider. You can just dial in a really nice compression in terms of the way it feels, and you're good to go. Now the other side is even more simple, because you've just got one control for the boost level. As I say, there's those three different types of boost though, and you've got the option to change it between a clean and a dirty boost. So let me walk you through each of the options. I would say that some of these will suit different amp settings better than others. So where I've got this pedals, the Iridium gain set, is kind of in between a clean and a dirty sound, like I said. So it kind of works for all things, but bear in mind you might just want to tweak your amp tone to suit the different types of boost if you want to use them that way. So let me just start with the flat mode. I'll walk you through the three, and then I'll switch to the dirty mode on the back of the pedal. Okay, here we go. So those are the three different types of boost. I really like that treble boost sound. It's not a sound that's to everyone's taste, but I think if you use the boost in a more subtle way, if in just more of a tone shaping way, then you actually get quite a lot of extra response just by using this treble mode in particular. Let me show you what that sounds like quickly. So again, first with the pedal off. So yeah, at lower settings you can just use it as a real tone shaper, which is really nice, and then as you gradually increase it up, it's a really nice natural sounding germanium style boost. I like the way they've voiced that. Okay, so I'm going to flip back to the flat mode, and I'm going to change it now from the clean boost to the dirty boost. I'll actually hold a chord while I do it so you can hear the dramatic difference. Okay, yeah, so the dirty mode actually really changes the character of the boost. It turns it into more of an overdrive kind of a sound. And again, having those 3 different EQ options allow you to just really make it sit nicely with whatever amplifier, or in this case amp modeler, you're plugging it into. I will just quickly show you, if I turn up the gain on the Iridium so I get that overdriving more, I'll show you what the treble boost sounds like. It really excels at just cutting through and tightening up that sound that can otherwise become a little bit flubby if you overdrive an amp naturally. So let me show you what I mean. Drastically different sound there. Just by turning the gain up of whatever amp you're running it into, obviously a boost, the character of a boost will change. But I like how analog they've managed to make this sound. So I've turned the gain back down here. The last thing I'm going to do is show you a combination of the two. So I've got more of a clean sound now from the amp sim. I'm going to show you how you can kind of stack these two together to use them in a really dynamic way. So let's start with our bass tone again, and I'll just go back to the flat boost mode, and I'm going to stick with the studio style compression just to show you one last time how this works really well with any kind of amp sound. Okay, I think that about wraps it up for today. Like I said, this is just a first impressions kind of thing. In conclusion, I really like what Strymon have done with the Compadre. I think it's turned into way more of a usable pedal. I'm sure this will be a pedal now that more people will start to use to kind of, not just for the obvious effects that it provides, the compression and the boost, but as is always the case with Strymon's products, the way they implement it practically into this two-in-one design. You've also got several different jacks on the back that will control, I think you can use the boost expression with an expression pedal, and there's another jack, a 1/4-inch jack, which will give you MIDI control as well as a favorite option on this pedal. So you can kind of store a bunch of different sounds in here. It's a very usable, pragmatic kind of a design to get the most out of these kind of simple circuits. Strymon, just as always, they excel at really simplifying a really complex idea. and that's what they've done exactly here. So if you want to find out any more information about this pedal, check out peachguitars.com. Also, if you'd like to hear this with a proper amp, let us know in the comments, because I might do another video or actually play it through Dr. C, for example, so you can hear how this reacts with a more natural analog style amp. But I think the Iridium does a great job of showing off what this Compadre can do, and equally, just to show you how minimal a rig needs to be these days to get some really good results. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you have, please leave us a like, comment down below with your thoughts about this new Strymon pedal, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.